Hi, on this video we are going to discuss a set of slides that I have used on a talk that was part of my research. It was the last talk of my second year of PhD project, and on that day we have to start to write a paper, and the paper was this one. So I mean, we decided to write a paper on the day, and later have some work by trying to summarize what we have done before and the content of the slides. We have to write this paper. The title suffered some changes, but anyway, let's see, this title, Ghrelin Mathematical Modeling, it's a very nice title. However, according to my own literature review, I arrived to the conclusion that this title would be very audacious, very audacious, very a title that would not be very nice. Bear in mind that in spite of the fact that we do not have too many mathematical models for Ghrelin, in fact, recently I really thought that that existed just one paper that was identified, but as I was reading the paper, I decided to do a more careful literature review, and I was able to identify more one paper and the two projects that the information available on the website was not complete enough for me to be able to see if this succeeded. However, all the publications that I was able to identify, the pursuit is a little bit is different from the one that we decided to hear. For our aim is a mathematical model for Ghrelin as an appetite in the energy homeostasis controller. So for our point of view is Ghrelin as a what you could say a classical point of view. Bear in mind that from the physiological point of view, there isn't too much to investigate about Ghrelin as an appetite controller. I believe most of the work they have already done, and the work for now one I believe would be just to try to shed some light and some doubts for the mathematical model could propose new experiment. But from the point of view of literature, I believe that they think as they already have done all they had to do regarding appetite control. As so that most of the paper they were published like years before. If you maybe 2 or 3 exception, most of the paper they were published 4 or 5 years before. So basically, simply this set of slides are organized into this section. The first one I would like to show you the goal we have. I mean, mainly I have because it's my project. I would like to talk a little bit about methodological procedure, introduction, Ghrelin empirical dynamics, which you can find in papers, and the mathematical model. You should keep in mind that the set of slides were prepared for a talk, more a report to my advisors. So sometimes it may feel that it's not feel strange for a webinar, and indeed it could be. But I have decided to do it because I believe that there are some points that could be of general interest in me, especially because I'm very interested. I have been trying to contact some research from that works with Ghrelin and so on, and so far I have not succeeded. I have got some feedbacks, and for the recent feedback I got, there's Otto, one of the paper. He's doing a research in Ghrelin. However, as he explained, his work is paid by pharmaceutical industry. So as he say, he cannot disclose the information. It's very sad, unfortunately, the truth. So they have the data but cannot let me know. My deal was that that I could overlap my mathematical model with some experimental data, and I had a hope in the beginning that I would be able to do it in the lab that I'm working right now. However, it was recently I was informed that it not be possible. So if I do not manage to get the data for somebody else, unfortunately my mathematical model will be just theoretical and just in silico simulation, no in vitro and no in vivo simulation. So the end final goal is a simulator. It's a kind of a system that can be used to make simulation. Of course, this view here is a little bit very ambitious for the project because just the Ghrelin itself will take a lot of time. Bear in mind it does not exist. The advantage of this is show that this one we already have one mathematical model from a paper. This one we have several mathematical models for insulin, and so the one that gives more probably is one, because once you build this one, you just have to find a way to connect them in the best way. This pre-processing box I have just introduced recently. I had not that mind. It came from one of the discussions from one of my advisors, and it was in the beginning of the research. It was the beginning of the year, and he thinks that it could be a good idea to have a simulator to simulate for example food. If you have a kind of diet, if you have a feeding pattern, it could be nice to have a way to simulate that as a big picture. So that would be a future system, a future work, potential avenue that could be pursued. So this would be such as we have a food. This could be an image process. This image transformed into some kind of spikes, and the spikes is fed to the model because the model right now can see spikes, and you have a input for the model such as a function that is such as this case here. You have here. You have now you are using this function. It's called the box cap function. It's 0 everywhere except in the interval. More complex pattern could be spikes that will change the intensity of the meal. And this kind of pre-processed system could give rise to this kind of system in which you have some kind of a somehow complex shape for the curve. So the kind of pre-processing can be a challenge because it's if you have an image, how to solve that image into input for the model could be not so simple as it may seem at first sight. So you have three boxes, as I explained before. The first one for Ghrelin. So that was so you are going to discuss in the set of slides just the Ghrelin mathematical model, and the model was called model number 1, which is clearly the one that you have reported in the paper. The model has a number because we have different versions for the same idea. And the point is that the model 1 is the simplest one. Is the model that takes into account very simple information. There are just 3 state variables: one for the stomach, the one for the duodenum, the other one for Ghrelin, which is in the bloodstream, and do not take into account the Ghrelin in the brain. So it is a very can call the bucolic simplistic model. However, it's able to reproduce in silico the behavior of the Ghrelin as a response to feeding pattern. Insulin, we have already a lot of model literature. The idea is to take a very simple model initially and try to connect them to Ghrelin. The connect is that some research show that Ghrelin and insulin may be connected. They may interact with each other. Leptin, we already have a mathematical model which is for mice. Nonetheless, we can make some change or even take as granted that's applied to human. One of the biggest problems to connect Ghrelin and leptin is that most of the study for Ghrelin has been done for human. Most of the study for leptin has been done for mice. So we have a kind of let's say literature work in the opposite direction. So unfortunately, since it's impossible to make have our own data, we have to find a way to use this data even belongs to opposite side of the chain. A very nice picture that I have built by just to make my head clear, to understand better exactly what's going on, is when you try to compare the key role of each hormone. So if you take here the control of fat, which is a very important, control, it controls body weight, it controls the amount of fat, which is a very important parameter in someone's life. You know that the obesity is the excess of fat tissue. So insulin, you tells your tissue to input energy. So if you have a high level of insulin, you start to store too much energy. That is, the amount of fat mass starts to increase. If you leptin is a signal of fat, so you have a high level of fat tissue. You are going to have a high level of leptin. So in the fat, it was thought ghrelin create inhibition effect on fat tissue. So the level of ghrelin is very high. It makes the process of inhibition in the usage of fat. So the since suppose that we succeed if the model until this point, the good question is what to plot. So what to plot could be let's say a point to discuss, such as if you want to make in silico experiment to understand how a certain regime of ghrelin or for example of insulin are going to react with someone else's body, such in a treatment. This kind of let's say kind of information can be understood from the model.